All right. There we go. Are we live yet? I think we are. Thank freaking goodness. Between Richie being stuck in traffic and then my computer doing an update that changed our settings, and we were scrambling for the past 10 minutes, we
Yeah.
are finally live. So we appreciate everybody hanging on. Sorry for being a half hour late, but at least it was a victory, right, Rich?
Yeah, that's all that matters. We are here, so everyone that's nodding off in the chat over here, we're here. We made it. Took me a while to get out of that Scarlet lot. That was like a complete gridlock. Like I was at the point where I was down the street by the traffic light, and I was like, you know what? I should just like throw it in park and put on the shoulder real quick and run back to the stadium, pull out the laptop, and just do it there. But I was too far gone, and there was no turning around. So,
Well, and that was something I was actually thinking about myself. Was that, you know what, we have to
mhm.
try that one of these weeks.
Yeah,
Do
no,
something
definitely.
on site.
Yeah, I thought about it. Like I said, I thought about doing it today, and I was just like last minute. I was like, you know what, I can get home pretty quick. Let's just see if I can get home, and obviously it wasn't pretty quick.
Oh,
So
well, it happens. So,
yeah,
but again, at least it was a winning ride home, and everybody got an opportunity to chill after a victory, and that's the most important thing. So it wasn't pretty again, but look, you take care of business against the teams that you're supposed to take care of business against, and
mhm.
that's really all you can say, right? Because once again, there was the point in that game, and we're going to go through all the highlights, and we're going to go through all of our analysis. But there was that point in the game, just like the Temple game, when it becomes a one-score game after everything looked like it was going to be a breeze. And what does Rutgers do on the following drive? They score a touchdown. So
Yeah. I mean that Monangai touchdown was huge. I know. I was talking to some of the guys in the press box in the third quarter, and I'm just like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? Like 13 unanswered, and then they start. It's
oh,
not looking good. Like
I
they
lost
they
you there for
have.
a second.
Oh,
No, you're okay. You're good.
yeah, I thought they had momentum on their side completely. That's at the point where like, is if you're in a basketball game, that's like you call timeout right there. Like you need to figure something out. They got oh, it keeps cutting out for a second. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
yeah, you are cutting
Um,
out every once in a while, but
yeah, one of these wires, but we're good to go there. I
whatever can
think.
go wrong tonight's going to go wrong. So we're good.
Yeah, it's not perfect tonight. It is what it is, and we're gonna try our best.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought like the fact that touchdown came when it did was the perfect ending to everything. Like not ending technically because they did score again, but that was like the icing on the cake, if you want to call it that. If you
Yep.
want to use one of those cliches, but huge win, 3-0, and Kyle Monangai, man, I
I
don't know
know.
what happened to him this offseason, but he's running like Pacheco. I had a couple alumni I was talking to after the game, or well, I guess close to the end of the game, and they were telling me they're like, man, I don't know, the kid's just he took everything that Pacheco does and just is doing the same thing all over again. Like he runs like a madman, and it's worked. So absolutely crazy game, but big win for Rutgers.
Yes, let's go right into it. And by the way, if you have, I know everybody's already started for the past half hour in the chat, so I don't think anybody needs my direction regarding if you have any questions. And Richie will do his best to scour the chat to see if there's anything to add to the show. So we'll start first of all. Let me pop up. Here we go. We're going to pop up the first big play. And of course,
First play of the game, or well, first offensive player of the game, right?
yeah, actually, let me get it back here. Yeah, I probably got a head start. Here we go. Wait, I got the ACC one. That's why. I don't want the ACC one.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna. You know, they might show a couple. They're
Where
not gonna
is
show much.
the? Yeah, they did have one, but here it is. This is what I had set up. Okay, here we go. So there you go. There's the fumble. There's the gift. And you know, the analyst was wrong because after they scored the touchdown, he goes, "Well, Virginia Tech gifted Rutgers 7 points. They did not gift Rutgers 7 points. They gifted Rutgers points. Rutgers, like Monangai, made it 7 points. That was a nice run there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a weird way of putting it. I didn't hear the announcer say it because I was at the stadium. I didn't have my headphones in, but that's just a very bizarre way to say it, especially because they earned the fumble like
Yes.
completely, and then they earned the run. The run was beautiful. Monangai. Jeez, I can't talk tonight. Um, he just had that one cutback in the backfield, and that was it. He was pretty much gone after that. He avoided the one tackle, or then hit the one cutback, and then like you just saw right there, wide open lane, and he hit the lane. And I don't know if you saw, I don't know if it was this touchdown or the next touchdown. If you saw in our post game article the photo of him celebrating, all you just see is Pat Hobbs in the background screaming at the top of his lungs. Like it's a great photo. It's kind of iconic.
Yeah, here actually, these are really good blocks. First of all, you see Langan seals it on the outside for the cutback, and then I think that's that Jackson that basically just puts his body in the way. Number 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, and that just opens the hole. So, big touchdown run by Monangai, and Rutgers.
All the way to start the game.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was, and they needed it because, and we'll get into this obviously, but the fact is that if you really think about it, you can understand the coach for Virginia Tech probably going into the locker room, talking to his kids and saying, "Hey man, we're killing ourselves." And they were.
Yeah.
Because Rutgers really didn't do a whole lot. And yet they were up pretty big. What, 21-3 at half? They were up pretty big.
Yeah, 21-3 at half.
And you could just imagine that's why when they started coming back, you were almost like, look, we haven't done anything in this game. Now they're actually making plays. And it really felt like we were in big trouble because we hadn't really done a whole lot ourselves, and which is why the drive we talked about, the 55-yard touchdown run, was just awesome. So
yeah, no, Monangai carried this team. The run game carried this team, I should say, too. And you can credit the defense as well, but there's just zero passing game at all today. Like it was. Yeah, I take it back. There was one nice play with Dremel down the sideline. Beautiful throw, beautiful
catch. That was
catch.
His best pass.
It all worked out.
Yep.
Everything else was just completely gone. Like he threw a couple over, threw a couple under. He pegged one guy in the chest, and he just dropped it. I think it was
Monangai,
Washington. It was Monangai.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pegged him right in the chest.
I think it was. I don't think it was God. Benjamin. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Jeez.
It was a bad day. Yeah. Overall, passing was a bad day.
I thought the O line was decent. The rights they actually had Kamar Missouri at right tackle to start the game.
Oh,
filling in for Tyler Needham, who was injured last week. Who's probably going to miss some significant time, it sounds like. But he got benched really quickly, pretty quickly, because Taj White came in. He's a redshirt freshman, I believe.
Okay.
And he played phenomenal, played the rest of the game. I know Missouri maybe had 10, 15 snaps, something like that. And then Taj White came in and took the job by the reins, and sounds like it's his right tackle job. He probably came into this season as backup left tackle, but they clearly knew they had an issue as soon as Needham went down, so they shifted him over right away. And then in warmups, it looked like Dante Chin, another redshirt freshman, is now the backup left tackle. Although I guess you can kind of flip-flop depending on what happens and what you need to do. But definitely interesting, though. I thought the line actually held up pretty well. But and then Wimsett, we didn't even talk about his running ability.
Yes.
I know he didn't pass, but he's hell of a runner today. There's his dual threat.
That's all he did, yeah. He did a good job running the football today, no question about it. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know what would have happened. But again, we talked about the blocking on that one touchdown run by Monangai. And really, if you take a look at a lot of the key runs, they really did a good job blocking. And it wasn't just the offensive line. It was the receivers and the tight ends.
Yeah. We actually have our first super chat of the night from My Crown. Said, great win, run in defense. Side note, what's up with Igbinosin? He seems to miss every tackle he tries to make. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I think he was part of that one big play that they gave up too. But he was fighting for that starting job, that starting slot job, this all training camp. He's getting pushed by Joe Lasardi, preferred walk-on the team, who actually made a really nice tackle today. So they were kind of splitting reps at the ones right there, and he might not have a job starting next week. It's going to be interesting. I know it's a little hard to judge right now, but I think after today, Lasardi played well, Igbinosin didn't, and they were already kind of pushing each other. So maybe you say, hey, Lasardi, like you're the guy now, especially if we're going to keep running the 4-2-5. You could be our guy. So we'll see what the coaching staff does. But
he also had the pass interference. That led to the late 21-16 touchdown.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a bad one.
Yeah.
I had someone text me and they're like, that wasn't pass interference. It's like that was pretty obvious. I don't know what we're talking about here, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for Rutgers winning. I want to see Rutgers win and
Yeah.
succeed, but that one was like, all right, that one's kind of like blatant as could be.
And it's frustrating because here you have a quarterback. Virginia Tech has this quarterback, and a little younger, I think, maybe a year younger than Wimsatt.
Drones, yeah, I think he's a year younger.
And he actually looked better in the passing game, and maybe even overall, because he was able to run a little bit too, and he's a bigger guy. But they were just now again. I don't want to say it was all on the quarterback because it just looked like he had more open receivers. It just looked like Wimsatt, when he did have an open receiver or two, also had a couple of missed throws, but there were a lot of open receivers today. Matter of fact, the one play early in the game, after they go up 7-0, they had the 4th and 8. And what is Melton doing, giving that Virginia Tech receiver 10 yards before he even decides to jump him? And they get away with it because Virginia Tech misses the field goal. And I thought it was interesting because then you saw just before the break, the commercial break, you see Schiano talking to Melton. Had to be like something about, because that was just awful. It's like, dude, you can't let a guy run 10 yards on 4th and 8 before you even make your move.
Yeah. Well, actually, with 2 new super chats, and one of them mentions Melton. So, number one, shout out to P. Mata Poisette. I think that's how I pronounce that. Sent us a super chat, and then we also got HJG, who said, "I'm not going to complain about Melton getting burnt or wondering what's up with Brown, but how does Virginia Tech get someone like Drones as QB2?" I kind of want to start with the Melton thing just because we were talking about it, but he's not been the same since sophomore year, even or second year. I'm not going to say sophomore year because the whole COVID year messes everything up now, eligibility wise. But his second year was great. He was dominant. It looked like, damn, he might be a 3 and done. Like that's it. Then last year he struggles mightily, and then this year he's struggling mightily. And it's like, all right, and these aren't good teams he's struggling against. Like these are some pretty bad teams. So I don't know. It's definitely questionable. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe he's just not suited to be a cornerback 1 or lockdown corner. It's a tough call there, but like he's still probably your best corner, so you kind of have to put him out there. Although Longerbeam's starting to make some plays, so it's definitely close right there.
Well, maybe he needs a demotion to get him going.
Got to get some competition for him or something. I know Eric Rogers is his backup, and he stunk last week.
Yeah, I didn't hear his name though too much today.
I didn't see him out there.
But then again, there were open receivers, and I'm not sure I necessarily blame anyone specific for that. So
yeah, but back to the question you said, how does someone like Virginia Tech get Drones as a QB2? Well, technically they didn't have a quarterback going into the season. They were going to rock with either Grant Wells, who's a transfer, or Drones, who's a transfer, and they just let him battle it out. And how the hell you picked Wells over Drones, I have no idea. But because Drones looks like the much better quarterback. I've only watched a little bit of Virginia Tech tape, like last week and the week before. I watched a couple like plays here and there, but Drones just looks a lot better than Wells. Wells stinks.
Yeah, Wells is just a pocket passer. He's a more experienced and right now refined passer than Drones. But yes, Drones is sort of like Wimsatt, but he looks just a little bit better, and he's also bigger. So
yeah. I want to talk about the play calling though. The play calling I thought was phenomenal.
When in the second half or the first half?
Well, the first half. The second half I don't even know where to start with that. But the first half I thought it was genius. The touchdown right away was great. Then they had 3 straight 3-and-outs, and I'm like, oh my god, here we go again. Lots and lots of Dremel, and I know a lot of people on our board specifically were complaining about it. But I think I told a lot of people, like, going, if you're on our message board, you kind of knew Christian Dremel was going to get a ton of targets this season. I said on our board, I kind of hinted at it. I was like, he's looking pretty good in training camp, and looking good in training camp. That's like my hint. Like, hey, I can't say much, but I can tell you who looks pretty good. Like, and he had 5 targets today, the most out of every receiver.
Yeah, led the team in receptions.
Second most was Monangai. I said it at the beginning of the year. One of my predictions was he's going to lead the team in receptions for the season, and it still looks like that. Now, he looked questionable on a couple plays today, and then all of a sudden he gets that one down the sideline for a big chunk of what was like 30 yards or something,
Something
like
like that.
23
Yep.
yards.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I do, but overall the play calling, going back to what I was saying before, that one play with the Wimsit, the keeper for the 34-yard touchdown run, was just a perfectly designed play. Everyone blocked well. The right side opened up. They basically parted the Red Sea because they were in all the scarlet uniforms. They made it perfect, like a perfect opening for Wimsit, and he just
This
galloped
is
right
it,
up the
right?
middle.
This one.
I gotta pull up the YouTube thing. What's right
Yep.
above me? Never
There it
mind.
is. That was it.
Yeah, I don't.
And oh, wait, let me get it lined up again. So,
Yeah.
so there you go. And again, really good blocking by both Manungai and and he was teamed up by, who was it? There was another guy that came in late to help open up that block. But
There's Dremel on the in motion at first. That's the perfect block, and then you see Manungai hit a block too. I think it's Dremel in motion. Yeah, and then with Manungai block, I think it's a tight end. I think it's Bauman or Langen. I can't really tell.
it was
Had to be
Langen. It was
Langen.
Langen. It was
Yeah,
Manungai and Langen. Yep.
yeah. Just a beautiful play call right there by Kirk Shiraka,
Yep.
and it's just showing you like night and day. Like this is a very similar team to last year. Great defense, average offense, maybe slightly below average offense, but that it just goes to show you what an OC can do. It can really make or break your team. Sean Gleason with this almost exact same team wasn't able to do anything. Kirk Shiraka, a veteran's in here, and it's like, all right, now we know what we're doing.
And that was 3rd and 7. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a passing down. So
yeah, 100%. So
yeah. So
just
that
a huge addition in Kirk Shiraka. They
absolutely
just not talked about enough. I know we do talk about it a lot, but it's still not talked about enough. Trying to think of what else. I had a bunch of notes written down. I'm trying to look at them right now. The Dixon interception was the very next play, wasn't it? Or 2 plays?
That's coming. Yes, actually, here it is. Wait, is this? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we got it right here.
Gorgeous
so here's the interception. This is a bad pass and a great interception. So Dixon has just been the man. He's been the best defensive player, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's hard. Tyrene Powell's been pretty good too. That's a tough one, actually.
Yeah, Dixon's been making the big plays, whereas Powell's been more consistent. He's making, he's got to do more. But
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When he went down on that one play, I think everyone was kind of holding their breath in the crowd and like, oh shit, like he's down on the ground. Like we got back up, came back in the game, so he's good to go. But yeah, he's been phenomenal. Whether it's been his tackling because he's built like a linebacker, or his DB skills. That was a hell of a grab. Like I keep watching it. That was very impressive.
Right after the interception, though, I remember this was another bad pass by Wimsat. He had that, and I don't have it here. Again, I would have had it on YouTube, but they're not going to show it on these plays. But it was the play where I forget who it might have been a running back. It looked like he was just getting open, and Wimsat I don't know who he threw the ball to. It's like he was rolling out to the right, and then just when the receiver had broken open, he just decided to just like chuck it away, like in the open field. So first of all, he could have ran. Second of all, if he would have found that player out of the backfield who just got open, that could have been a touchdown because nobody was behind him.
I think that was Ian Strong, if I remember correctly. I do remember because we talked about it in our we have a little group chat between a couple of us on the site, and we were talking. Someone said it too. I think it was Ian Strong or Isaiah Washington, one of the two. But yeah, wide open, and he just completely did nothing with it. And it's a little odd, but it's like I said, his passing wasn't there today. Like it was really rough. And I mean the stats speak for themselves. You're 7 of 16 for 46 yards, and
that's a winning quarterback. Yeah,
that's the winning one too. That's the crazy part. And the run game. It's all about the run game. He did have 11 for 87 on the ground, which was huge. You got to just put it all together. If you can put it all together, then kid's got sky's the limit for him.
Yep.
So.
Here's the touchdown to go up 21-13. I have no idea what this official was looking at. He's right there. He's looking right at it. And he calls the guy out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't get that one. That was a bad call. I don't know how he missed that completely. Like it's like 10 feet in front of you, not even like a foot in front of you, maybe. That was a rough one.
And I didn't even know why they were. It took them like a couple of minutes. It's like, what are you waiting for? It's almost like they were probably saying
Yeah.
to themselves, well, he had to call it no good for some reason. It's like, dude, it's not even close. It's just a touchdown.
I mean, I thought it was close because it's where the ball is, and you look at the ball, but he like clearly was over the goal line.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it was extremely close. It's like that should be a touchdown right away. That's just like, hey, if it's not, then it's like, all right, let's go back review. But I thought that was a clear touchdown.
And of course, that was after the bad punt because they had the interception. They did not take advantage of it, but Virginia Tech has a bad punt, so they get the ball right back again where they left off at midfield, and that led to that touchdown that we just talked about. And that was a good play call. You just talked about KC, and that's another great play call. I mean, those are excellent calls. Those are excellent diagram plays. Everybody did their job. They go up 21-3 at halftime, and they were down 20-10 as far as time of possession. And then, as we said before, I mean, Virginia Tech had to feel really good about, hey, we can just get a couple things going here. Now we could kind of talk about the second half, the decision for Rutgers.
The debacle.
Yeah, to start run. Yeah, the thing I was a little upset about, and I understand a little bit about what they were doing, but I thought when Benjamin nearly picked up 9 on that 3rd and 9 run, I kind of felt they should have went for it, even though that was exactly against what they were trying to do. They were trying to be ultra conservative.
Yeah.
But it just kind of showed the team that, not that we don't trust you, but that we're kind of playing conservative. And I'm not sure that was the right play, because they've been pretty successful this year on short yardage situations.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. I thought they should have went for it too, but at the same time, like you said, their whole game plan, and this is Greg Schiano football 101.
Yeah.
We're going to run, we're going to get a lead, and then we're going to run, and then we're going to run, and then we're going to run out the clock too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I get it to an extent. I like it, but like, I like the win to see. I like to see the win, but I don't like the style of play. When you're up, don't take your foot off the gas. Keep going.
Yeah. You know what? The one thing I understand, like, and you understand it. The thing that was upsetting about it, though, was that they did give up 2 touchdown drives in that quarter to a team that really wasn't doing anything. Well, again, they made plays, but they was, they were screwing things up themselves. I get that, but it's like, this is not Michigan. You're up 21-3. You cannot, you're supposed to be leaning on your defense, and your defense just let up 2 consecutive drives for touchdowns. It's just, I was kind of disappointed in the defense for them to allow that.
Yeah, I thought I actually had it written. Like I started writing the story beforehand because I thought it was going to be a win, and you have to write it a little bit beforehand, like kind of a summary for the most part. And I'm like, oh, the defense played pretty well today, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, never mind. They just gave up back-to-back touchdown drives, and then it's a 13-point swing, and it's like, all right, well, I got to rewrite that whole thing now. Thanks. But they were hit or miss today, just kind of like the offense too. Like there's some really high highs and there's some low lows, and that was just kind of the story of the whole Rutgers team today. But in the end, those high highs were enough to get you the win.
And they gave up the punt too. It was a bad punt. That was Appleby's probably his worst punt of the year. It's like a line drive, and that led to them getting the ball back at midfield. Virginia Tech, a short field. I think they were even in Rutgers territory, and then they scored that early 4th quarter touchdown. And before that, when Rutgers had the ball at 21-10, there was that other pass where Wimsatt was on the run. Now, I don't know. This might be the one you're talking about with Strong, because he was on the run on the right, and Strong was wide open.
It's probably that one then.
And he threw it behind him, and he forced Strong to kind of go low to the ground. Now, Strong could have come up with it. It's one of those passes you want to see your wide receiver catch, but it was like you made it difficult for him. And then I believe on 3rd down they ran and said, all right, we'll punt again.
Hey, we'll run out the clock. We can do this all day and just have a punt off. Speaking of punters, the one punt for Virginia Tech, it went past the
Yeah.
50-yard line, but then it bounced back to
Yeah.
the 50-yard line. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, talk about a bad day, bad luck for the Hokies.
I mean, if we were Virginia Tech fans and we were doing a post game show,
Oh,
man, would we
geez.
have material.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
We would
There's
have
a
like 15 different things to just rip them apart about how did we lose this. That's what they would be saying. How did we lose this game? That's what
I
they, you know.
I don't
So I
know.
could imagine. I'm not saying that we're better or worse than Virginia Tech after that game. I don't know, tell you the truth. If Virginia Tech fans want to say that, hey, you know what, if we play this game over, we'd win, you know what, I might say maybe you will.
I mean, I think Rutgers is definitely like clearly the better team, but I think that them taking their foot off the gas kind of gave Virginia Tech a little like in to try to creep back, and they almost did. But that's like Shiano said in his post game presser. He's like he said that's kind of his style. Like they're just going to play. They have the lead. They haven't turned the ball over. They're just going to do that. Maybe break another run. Maybe Monangai breaks another run, and then there you go. It's game over all over again. So.
But once
I don't know.
again, what it is, and the reason why we have, or at least I have the confidence that they can win these types of games, and that's why I believe they should, is of the coaching. And we just keep talking about it and keep stressing it. They have coaching advantages over a lot of these teams, but when they play the teams that are that much more talented, matter of fact, when they play Michigan next week, there's still no Harbaugh, right?
I know he's back.
Oh, he is. Oh, of course.
Yeah,
That's the game he's going to
like,
come back at. Okay.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm
So,
pretty sure he's back for this one. I think that
so
was part of the thing. It was
3
like,
games
was
instead of
suspended
4. Okay.
but then they came back and they're like, no, we'll just do 3 now, because you need him for the Rutgers game.
Oh, of course. You got to have him in that game because then Shiano would have a big advantage. So, but yeah, when they go up against teams that the talent is on level, they're in great shape because they have a great coaching staff, and
Yeah,
they're going to call great calls, whether it's the offense or they're going to make the wise decisions most of the time. And again, we can criticize Shiano for being conservative, but it worked. That's what it did. It did work. Because let's say they throw the football and they don't run it. And Wimsatt's been terrible throwing the football in the game. And let's say all of a sudden, instead of Virginia Tech scoring that touchdown at 21-16 early fourth quarter, now it's 21-16 with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter because you've just stopped the clock 3 or 4 times, extra times, because you're trying to throw the football. So that was the good thing. That was the silver lining at the time, was that it was at least the fourth quarter and you did milk the clock enough that you now put them in the position where you did score that one touchdown and the game was kind of over. You could just kind of tell Virginia Tech was deflated after that touchdown for Rutgers to go up 2 scores just like they did against Temple.
yeah. No, they fell apart in the end. But I do have to give them credit because they did give them some troubles at times. And like I said before, I thought Drones was pretty good. And I said it in our preview podcast with Mike the other day. I thought Beischel Tootin is actually a pretty good running back. I just think that their offensive line is just god awful.
Correct.
Felton is a good wide receiver. I overall though, this is good. This is like a great win for Rutgers. You're 3-0, and you're halfway to a bowl game now. We got to start talking bowl games.
But we've been in this spot before.
Well, last season, the season before, actually, too.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons, it was 3-0, 3-0, and it fell apart. But if you look around college football, it's a lot of things are weird happening between Alabama struggling, between Georgia having their struggles. Big Ten's even weird. Like Penn State had some struggles today against Illinois. This is a weird year for college football, and right now, if you look at it, actually, Michigan's only up 7-6 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter against Bowling Green.
Yeah,
it's crazier things have happened.
Here's the touchdown that kind of does seal it. Here's the Monangai touchdown, 55-yarder, and good block by Pierce and Bowman. They basically combined to open up. So when he made the cutback, I mean, it was just wide open. So, and it was nice that Monangai showed the speed too. So not only does Monangai have the ability to break a tackle, but he also has the ability to outrun the defender for the touchdown, because you don't want to, with this offense, the way it could go, you don't want to get caught from behind and then have to settle for a field goal. So, and then this is just when everything started to work for the defense. Aaron Lewis coming up with the sack, and And then, of course, Rutgers just put a seal in the game. Unfortunately, they didn't have the hit, the Flip Dixon hit. But you can just see that you're just wearing them down. Monungai for 20. And then this is the 12-yard touchdown run that does put it away for his third of the game. So Monungai, what is that now for 2 games? That
big
is
number.
318 in the last 2 games from Monungai. 4 touchdowns. The team ran for 256 yards.
Yeah.
Wimsatt had 87, 7.9 average. Monungai had an 8.9 average. Wimsatt had a 2.9 yard completion average.
That's not good.
That's a kind way of putting it.
I want to bring up the Bauman thing because you said Bauman, and
yes.
I feel like not a lot of people are talking about him. Like Johnny Langen's been struggling with blocking. I think that's been pretty clear. Run blocking, especially. When you see Bauman do that, it's kind of like it makes you question it a little bit and be like, all right, like why is he not playing more?
Yeah, sure.
Like he's a great blocker, and he's not just a great blocker. He actually came into Rutgers as a great receiver because he was putting up pretty decent numbers at Maine, whether it be PFF or his actual stats. He get a ton of receptions. I think he had like 30 something for like 300 yards last year. But he's proven that he's a pretty good receiver. So like I don't understand why Bauman's not. I know Langen's the incumbent, but like if Bauman's that good of a blocker and a better receiver, like you kind of have to throw him out there more.
Well, you would think that with Langen and him, and the fact that they're running 2 tight ends, and there's no reason not to, that one of them should be able to get open or should be a part of the passing game. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's Wimsatt. I don't know. I'm not looking at these guys on tape. I'm not finding out if they're getting open. Are there plays designed to get to them? I don't know. But you're right. It doesn't make sense, you would think. But hey, you know what? Maybe we'll eventually see this. Maybe this is just something that they're going to get to. They just haven't put it into their playbook yet.
Yeah, it does seem like you said before, they're doing super conservative stuff. They're not going to go too wild. But it's a win. You don't really need to. You don't need to go wild when you're doing this stuff. So
it's a win, and it's 3-0, and it's on to Michigan. And like you said, look, no matter what happens in the second half with Bowling Green and Michigan, just the fact that they could be in this spot, and like you said, Alabama can be in that spot, and the fact that Rutgers has played Michigan tough for the most part over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Except for one blowout, that there's hope. I mean, you can hope. It's it could get ugly. I mean, we know that. We'll be prepared for ugly. We've seen it before, but you got to hope, and I also would think that I would expect it because we're and even though we are 3-0 for a third straight year, this is different, and we could tell. I mean, our offense last year, even though we were 3-0, I mean, we weren't hiding anything. We weren't going, wow. I mean, look at the plays we're making at 3-0. We've had a lot of wow so far at 3-0. We've had a lot of wow plays. We've had, the running game, and even Wimsatt's better. Even though he's still inconsistent, he's still better.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, no turnovers still. That's huge.
No turnovers. And he's running the football, and he's holding on to the ball when he's getting hit. That's also important. So absolutely, the penalties are down. Virginia Tech, they really had like 3 or 4 really bad timed penalties in the game, especially from the linemen. Like you said, that's a bad offensive line. And then on top of it, you have the penalties. So Rutgers is staying away from penalties. And by the way, that hit by Dixon, another situation where if the ref calls a penalty, now maybe they go to the monitor and they change it, but they could have called it. They could have called something.
Yeah, no, definitely. We have a couple other super chats in here too. William Donahue just said, as a longtime Rutgers fan, I've fantasized about the day where we don't play our best football and still beat a Power 5 school by multiple scores. Yeah, like we said before, that's huge. This was a big win for Rutgers. Now, what you said before about Michigan, Michigan's probably, I'd probably argue the best team in the country right now. Obviously, they're struggling with Wolverine at the moment, so it's hard to say that and not laugh a little bit. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no line yet, but it's going to be a tough game. I think if you keep it within 2 scores, that's a win.
Absolutely.
In Rutgers' book.
Yeah, I'd be happy
because they're that good. Like they're really good. So.
Well, they're going to try to. I mean, I don't know. Again, I've watched some of I haven't watched this game yet, of course, but the thing that I still haven't seen McCarthy do, even though he's Mr. Accuracy this year, I'm still not seeing the downfield passing. And that's the thing that they didn't have last year. And so far, I haven't seen it. So now look, Melton has to pick up his game. Receivers are going to get better.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have to face Ali Jennings today. That was important. That was
huge.
Good break. But they've got some good receivers. I mean, I forget who it is, that one guy that they have that's really off to a great start.
Cornelius Johnson or Roman Wilson?
The little guy.
Is it?
Roman
Wilson, right?
Yes, Roman Wilson. He was off to a good start last year, and then he got hurt, and he didn't have the season that they thought he was, and now he is. So he's going to be a pain in the butt. Their tight end has not been as good as it was last year. They definitely miss Schoonmaker. That's a big loss so far for them in the passing game.
McCarthy's got 2 picks already. I'm looking at now.
Roman
Wilson has the 1 touchdown he threw. He's got 2 for 42, but J.J. McCarthy's got 2 picks. And I'm just saying, it's not as crazy as it sounds.
Well, let's just
little upset alert. I'm just saying.
Well, let's just keep our fingers crossed that they pull it out so we can upset them next week.
Yeah, it'd be definitely be interesting though.
Yeah, this is the kind of film that coach can show the team that can give them confidence. Even if they win the game going away in the second half, he can show them the first half highlights of this one and go, "Hey, see, we can do this. We have a shot." So
it's true. Another super chat, by the way. Delmarva Fishing. Flip is a great player. He had an interception on that end zone pass interference. He only needed to turn his head. Where have the tight ends been? I think we kind of just hit on them a little bit, but I'll talk about it again. They're non-existent. Like, Johnny Langen's the tight end 1, and he's in there most, if not every snap. They're just not using him really at all. And like you saw, I think he actually had a catch early on in the game, if I recall correctly. But then he just non-existent for the rest of the game. And then Bauman comes in, makes a couple blocks, but it's hard to get them involved when, number one, you're really not throwing the ball at all. And if you are, you're throwing it to Dremel like no one else, apparently. It seems like Wimsatt just kind of targets one guy every game, and it's like, I'm going to throw to this guy and this guy only. And it's like last game was a lot of Jaquay. The game before that was Isaiah Washington had like 7 targets. And in this game, it's Christian Dremel has 5 targets, and then no one else is getting targeted.
Yeah.
So it's something to keep an eye on. But when you're running this much and as many times as they have, I think it was the exact amount. 34 rushes. I mean, that kind of explains why they didn't really hit the tight ends, but they don't use them at all. Really.
They don't need that. It's not. Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's part of the design or it's just that Wimsatt, for some reason, you would think the tight end is a quarterback's friend. It's an easier pass.
A green quarterback like Wimsatt.
But I would have to believe that since we're not seeing passes go to the tight ends, that they're not designed that way. So, look, again, maybe they're just using it more to help them out in the passing game, in the running game, and in pass protection. I can't really, again, it's not something I've been paying full attention to, but it would make sense that at some point, we've seen Johnny Langen, he had his ability as a receiver. And like you said, this other kid got stats that show that he also has an ability as a receiver. So we know they could do it. So the fact that they're not doing it leads me to believe that it's not part of their game plan right now. So
there's that. And then on top of it, I just don't, like someone mentioned, I don't think they're getting open. Like I had a Power 5 coach tell me this offseason, and this is before they got Bauman. And I was like, hey, what do you think of Rutgers tight end room? Like just BSing with him back and forth. And he goes, Langen kid's pretty decent, but he's the best of a bad bunch. And I'm like, well, that says it all. He goes, he's a total football player. He's a freak athlete. He'll die for his team on the field. We've seen him fully bloody faced and everything in that one Penn State game a couple years ago. Like the man will do anything there is to for Rutgers to win. But is he a tight end? I mean, that's the question mark. Like he's clearly big and bulky, but he's also been whiffing on a couple blocks, and he's also been struggling blocking at times. So I don't know. I think he's a good football player. I think if he would have played linebacker from day one, he might have been a ferocious linebacker, but we'll never know because he's a tight end quarterback that doesn't play quarterback anymore.
Well,
So I guess just tight end.
and look, as we know, tight end is a very difficult position to learn. It's a lot more difficult than people think. This is his only shot, and he knew when he took over this position, it was going to be the only shot he was going to have in the NFL at that point of his career.
It's true.
But it is hard because even when we were watching, because let's just give an example with Pacheco. We liked Pacheco. We really did. And we understood that he wasn't getting the numbers because the team offensively and the offensive line wasn't very good. But still, we really didn't know maybe that he was capable of what he did with the Chiefs last year. So these are things that, I don't know. I mean, maybe Langan goes to the pros and, maybe he gets coached up and maybe he can find a way to stick in the NFL with that position. But yeah, it's, I expected more. I'll be honest. I did. I expected by now that Johnny Langan would have been a bigger part of the offense because he's been there now for a couple of years. So
I don't think that's a question. I think that's pretty accurate. I thought he, like I said, I thought he'd be better too, but he is what he is at this point. And I think next year you probably got to hit the portal because all the other guys are pretty young. Like you got to get the portal for somebody.
There's no young tight end on the roster right now.
They brought in Logan Blake, who's a freshman. They brought in Mike Higgins the year before, who played at Bosco, then Blair. Konopka's still back for another year, but he's like non-existent, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Guess technically he'd be tight end one, but he has a really bad injury history, and I kind of wanted to touch on that because Shiano commented on the injuries post-game. He did say he expects to get everyone that was on that injury report today back at some point this season. So like Tyler Needham, Chris Long, Daryl Jabome, and there was a fourth one. I can't remember who it was. I'm trying to pull it up real quick.
So guys that have been out. Okay.
Yeah, guys that have been out. He's expecting to get them all back at some point. Jesse O'Fury. Who actually, Jesse O'Fury, I thought might have actually played some snaps this year if healthy. But besides the point, he expects to get them all back at some point this season. He's not sure when. He said some will be sooner than others, some will be later than others. Based on Needham's injury last week, I'm going to say he's probably the one that's going to take a while. Sounds like Chris Long might be out for a couple more weeks too. I think O'Fury's close. I think Jabome is close. And then the other one on the list is Nassim Brantley, who the NCAA is kind of just dicking around a little bit. Like he's I don't know the exact situation or the exact details because they don't reveal all that, but just going based off of his previous spots where he was at. So number one, the NCAA doesn't let you transfer twice. Number two, the man spent 4 seasons of playing college football, or 5 seasons technically. So I did the math. Like 2018, he played in 5 games at Sacred Heart. 2019, he played in 10 games. So that's 2 years of eligibility. 2020 doesn't count because it was a COVID year. And then 2021, he played in 11 games. And 2022, he played in 10 games and then broke his foot. So technically, you used your 4 years of eligibility. So I think that's what Shiano means when he says eligibility issue, because there's your 4 years. Like I don't know how you could get a 5th.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to say his first year was a redshirt year in Sacred Heart. But it says he appeared in 5 games. So I don't know how you'll be able to do that. I don't know what the details are, what the extent of it is. And then plus the foot injury last year. So I think they might actually just end up being screwed with him. Maybe they can get him back next year, but that's not even it's still a question mark too. Like he would have been wide receiver 2 for you probably. So that would be a big blow if you can't get him back.
Well, yeah. Long. Yeah, we really have no idea. He's just saying they're going to come back, but you don't think he's going to be back for at least a few more weeks.
I think Long and Needham are definitely a few more weeks. Okay. I think the rest are very possible to come back pretty quickly. I think Jabome and O'Fury are pretty close.
Yeah, I think he's missed. Long. He is missed.
Yeah, his speed out there is a big difference maker. He was South Jersey's all-time receiver record, I think it is, or something like that. Something with South Jersey in records. Either kick return or receiver. I think it's receiver. But yeah, it's you got to get them back. You got to get these guys healthy. And it's I don't even know if I blame the wide receivers really. I feel like it's
Yeah,
a combination of things. Oh,
I
line's
know.
got to protect better. Receivers got to get open better. They got to break off their routes quicker. Um,
Yeah, because look at
and
look at what happened today. I mean, again, I said this before. There were just it seemed like every time, for the most part, Virginia Tech had a lot of wide receivers that were open. There were a lot of plays, a lot more
yeah,
plays in their passing game where guys were open. They were catching balls and they were wide open.
hmm
I mean, we saw that what twice, three times maybe with Rutgers, and I'm not even sure they completed one pass in that situation. So
the Jaquay Jackson last week, but that's it really. This week,
this
nothing
week,
really
nothing.
at
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
So guys are not
Um,
getting wide open.
yeah. And I mean, I guess you could argue Dremel's the one that's getting open, but he's also the dump off route too. So it's like, of course, he's going to be open. They also play off on him quite a bit, coverage wise. So he's got a couple steps before a defender even comes near him. So I don't know. And then you can combine the fact that Wimsett wasn't really accurate, so you have to figure that out too.
Yep,
So
that would scare the coaching staff. Yes,
yeah,
let's
a lot,
not.
lot of issues.
If he doesn't have it today, let's not force it. So
Yeah.
and he's definitely not even the good thing is that he's not like he is not forcing it. He's not doing it where he's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, I'm gonna throw the ball even if a guy's covered just to see if my guy can come up with it. That's not happening, which is good. Which is why his
Mhm.
turnovers are at nothing. So I'm sure it doesn't look good on film to see him miss a lot, but it also
Mhm.
is good that he's not forcing balls into coverage. He doesn't have the talented receivers. He doesn't have Garrett Wilson out there. So
Yeah.
just hold on to the ball, live for another day. That's the kind of team you have, and it's not pretty football, but
Mhm.
it's the kind of football you play when you're supposed to beat teams.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Jaquay Jackson. He's pretty good. He's not Garrett Wilson good, but he's good. But other than that, there's no receivers. Like no one's really standing out, and that's where the portal's hit or miss. You get a Flip Dixon in the portal, great. You get a Jaquay Jackson, pretty solid. You get I'm trying to think who else they got. Then you get like Eric Rogers, who's been struggling, although played slightly better today. Then you get a Charles Monco who doesn't play, and then you get Nassim Brantley. You get screwed over. So it's hit or miss with the portal. You do need to go hit the portal, I think, pretty hard this offseason at receivers
Yeah,
specifically. But
right.
everyone wants the receivers. That's
Yeah,
the bigger issue. So
yeah.
everyone wants the linemen. It's just the portal. After what Colorado's doing, everyone's going to hit the portal like crazy next year.
It's well, that's that. You want to know why we're seeing craziness this year, and it's just going to continue because once
Mm-hmm.
Georgia stops winning, once they stop being this dynasty, it's just going to be
Free
parody
for all.
city with
Yeah.
all these transfers, how long it takes for for teams to adjust to the new players and the new schemes, and this is what you get, and then you don't practice as hard as you used to. It's we see it in the NFL every year, and to expect it not to happen in college now with the transfer portal, it's just why would we think it wouldn't happen, especially when they're like 19, 20, 21-year-old kids.
Yeah.
So
He replaced what 70 something scholarships with Colorado
yeah, that
too,
was
which
just
is
nuts,
just
but it's
insane.
working.
But that's the thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Like you
yeah.
can hate the portal all you want, but that's what
But
you
he
got to do
had
now.
what? He got two. What? He's got the 5-star kid Hunter.
Hunter,
He's
his
got his
son's pretty
quarterback, his
damn
son,
good.
who's also a pretty damn
Yeah.
good player. So that's the thing: is who do
Um,
you get in the transfer portal? Not
well,
that
I
it's working for
mean,
Texas A&M at least, and we're
well,
not
true.
we're not
Very true.
crying over that. Maybe we'll get that off. Maybe we'll get that kid coming back home. Who was that kid again that we
That's
lost to?
which one? Oh, Chase Basantis.
Yes, yeah. Maybe he'll come back
He's
home.
starting right guard as a true freshman down there. So or one of the guard spots. It's incredible. But like there's names out there too. Like Xavier Weaver, who's leading their team, is a guy that I thought Rutgers should have went heavily after. He showed some actually Rutgers showed some interest in him, and he actually had some interest in Rutgers too. So but yeah, like you gotta hit the portal as hard as you can. I don't think it's a question. And like I said, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're shit. And it's just
But
it's like that
I
meme. It's
like
like,
Shiano's his mantra though. And I
mhm,
get it, and I think it's the right philosophy because that's why I think Texas A&M is struggling you shouldn't just sign everybody and pay everybody, and just because they're 4 and 5 stars, they have to fit your system. They have to fit.
Yeah.
Like, are they playing for the team or are they playing for the money? And
yeah, you could ruin a culture like
yep.
that. So, well, you build a culture like that. It's tough. It's a tough double-edged sword, but you got to pick one, and it ends up working out at some like Colorado, and like you said, A&M's been shit. So
yeah, and they're gonna pay Jimbo Fisher a lot of money to be on the unemployment line.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I asked you at the beginning of the season about Keontae Hamilton.
Yeah.
How do you think he's playing? Because I don't think I've heard his name more than once so far this season.
I think Mayan Hanatu is the go-to guy in interior. I think Mayan Hanatu, you hear his name quite a bit. You saw him in the backfield quite a bit today. I think he's everything that everyone wanted Keontae to be and more. I think Mayan's been phenomenal. I think Keontae's been quiet. He hasn't really played a ton. I guess he's playing. He's playing significant snaps each game, but the D-line also rotates a ton. Greg says it. He said it twice over the past 2 years. He's like, we're 10 deep. We're 10 plus deep at D-line. And I'm like, you seriously are. Like, you have so many weapons there. You could even put two right down there who comes in on third down packages and sometimes plays the interior. You can move Aaron Lewis around and put him on the interior in certain schemes. Yeah, but Keontae Hamilton's just he's I don't know. He's been really quiet lately.
Yeah.
You are right. It's a little weird to see, or well, not to see, I should say.
Yeah. So we're gonna start playing the big boys next week at 12 o'clock, and another guy that cannot be healthy yet is Sam Brown. It's like I understand Mononga is hot, you go with him, but they're just not even giving him touches, so he can't be healthy yet.
Yeah, I thought it was a little odd because they did put him in garbage time late in the game. I think he had one of that final drive where it was just to run out the clock. They ended up putting him in this game, but again, he's missed all of training camp. Like, he did not practice once. Then he practiced like the week before, not Temple, Northwestern. And then he started to shake off some of the rust. He got that 1 or 2 carries, I think, in the Northwestern game. Then he gets the Temple game. Then he gets that wide open out of the backfield. He gets that wide open play. He gets the touchdown. Or not? Did he get the touchdown?
No, I don't think
he got tackled short, I think. But he did look weird. He looked weird on that run. I thought that run, he looked like he had like a little hobble. And foot injuries aren't easy. They're not easy to deal with, especially for a bigger guy like himself, who's what, 6'1", 230, 220, something like that. So it's going to be tough to get him fully back, but just be thankful that Mononga has emerged as he has, because you don't really have to worry about it. And then just Sean Benjamin, who didn't get a ton of carries today, but still looks pretty good.
He does,
True freshman.
True freshman,
just grinding it out. So
yeah, that's not a problem. That is not a problem. That position is not a problem for Rutgers whatsoever. So hopefully Brown will be back soon. And then again, and by the way, Pierce is playing, as far as I can tell, he's playing fantastic, especially in the run game. So
last week I thought he struggled a little bit because he had the one holding call, and then he had a couple of plays that he struggled with. But this week I thought he was great. I thought he was phenomenal, especially against edge rushers who are pretty good, and Virginia Tech guys.
Yeah, so it's I think Michigan's now up 14-6 at halftime.
Yeah, see that. That's a heck of a pretty quick turnaround there.
That's okay. Again, as long as it's an ugly win, that can help Rutgers' confidence, because we've been in this spot the last, this is the 3rd straight year. And in Game 4 in 2021, we lost by 7 points at Michigan. Mm-hmm. And of course, that was a Michigan team that wound up going all the way to the championship, the playoffs. And then the 2022 team loses to Iowa 27-10 at home. So those are the streak buster games. And now Michigan again at 12 o'clock on Saturday, and we'll see if they fare any better. We're still one of these years. I don't know if it comes this year, but one of these years, as long as this Schiano trajectory just keeps going the right way, which we believe it will, they're going to knock someone off. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. We hope it happens this year, because if we do, that pretty much cements a bowl berth, you would think. If we can just knock someone off that we're not supposed to, because Michigan State, I mean, Wow.
Yeah,
So, yeah. And
definitely
I
interesting.
don't expect us to lose to Indiana. So, that could be 2 more wins right there.
And
Should
that's
be.
5, and then 6 could be who
6 is the
knows.
upset,
Yeah, the upset could be the Maryland game at the last game of the year. If you're
which
playing for a bowl game, going in that game, I think there's going to be a lot of hype behind this team.
I certainly hope that's not for the bowl game, but it could be, because that means chances are we could be facing a 3-game losing streak, which is almost like looking like it was last year again. Like, here we go again. We're going to end the season on a losing streak. We're going to lose to Maryland at
Mhm.
the end of the season. It's not what you want. So hopefully we can go into that Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State stretch with 6 wins. But if
Yeah.
that happens, that means we have to upset probably Wisconsin, which again today
Which
did not look all that tremendous.
Yeah, they bounced back in the end in the third quarter. I think it was they scored 3 touchdowns, but they struggled mightily. They were 7-7 at half
Yeah.
versus Georgia Southern. Like who's Georgia Southern? I don't even know who their head coach is. Like,
It's the former head coach of USC,
oh, it
Helton.
is. I didn't even know that. Oh wow,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yep.
Was he the one that got in trouble for drinking?
That's Sarkeesian.
Keegan. Yeah, you're right. Trying
Yeah,
to think.
but that game, I flipped it on just when they had to stop 28-14, I think, inside their 20, I believe. So Georgia Southern almost scored a touchdown to go 28-21 in the second half, which leads you to believe, again, we talked about it, Wisconsin's going to get better. But let's just hope that by the time we play them on October 7th, they're not there yet. Because that could be our best chance to actually. Well, then again, the way Iowa looked today against Western Michigan, that's a bad football team, Western Michigan.
Yeah. What they end up winning, like 30 something to 7?
Was it?
I
think it was like 14-7
30-something.
in the second half.
Yeah, they blew them out in the end. Yeah, 41-10. So,
And Iowa lost the total yards battle to Utah State in the first game of the season, and they lost the total yards battle to Iowa State. Who lost to Ohio
got
today.
beat? Yeah, Ohio. Maction. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
So that's actually,
yeah.
I think we may have a better chance against Iowa than Wisconsin, but who knows?
Yeah. We have a couple chats I want to hit up before we end up signing off, because I think we're already an hour into this, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I think so. No, I mean, we can keep going. I don't really care.
I mean, yeah, it's.
But I definitely want to hit up the chat because I feel like we've been ignoring them a little bit.
I know one of them talked about the punt returner, but we can go with yours.
That's exactly what I was going to go with.
Oh, okay.
Someone said something about Aaron Young potentially being the punt returner over Rochelle, which
I like
if
it.
If Aaron Young was fully healthy, I think he would be back there. I don't think he's fully healthy. I know the injury report he's not on. It says basically that's saying he's healthy. I don't think he's fully healthy. He looked good in training camp. In one of the scrimmages, I think I can report this now. He had like 20-something carries, just against the ones and against the twos. Like, he's kind of going back and forth. But
really?
He had 20-something carries, and the next running back had, like, I want to say 8.
Okay.
Like, he was the dominant, like, force in the one scrimmage, and it looked like he was going to be a significant factor this year. I thought he was going to play maybe running back 2, running back 3 with Monangai kind of splitting, because I thought Brown would be good. Obviously wasn't. I thought Monangai would be like 1 or 2A, 2B with Young, and then just Sean Benjamin would be 3.
Okay.
But he ended up getting dinged in training camp towards the end, and now I don't know the extent of it, but it does sound like he's getting close to fully healthy. But I think as soon as he is, I think there's no question. I kind of like watch Rochelle with punt returns, and I'm like, oh god, like, here we go again. Like, it's ever since that muff. And then, like, today, like, he fell to one knee on the one, and I'm like, oh, dude, just hold on to that ball. Like, I still can't believe Greg put him back out there. That's not like old school Greg. He would have. You fumble the ball. What's the saying? The ball is a program. You only hear it about every 10 seconds at practice. They only say it like 200 times every practice.
I know, and it's not like the kid's getting any better. It doesn't make any sense while he just keeps putting him out there to just catch fair catches, and then when he did have an opportunity to run the ball back that one time, it's almost like he just didn't know what to. It's like he almost tripped over his own feet. Like, he wasn't like comfortable doing it. It's just
He's so good in space though. Like we saw glimpses of it last year,
yeah,
and that's why he was at running back.
yeah,
Like the kid's hands are questionable, but he sees space and he knows how to avoid tackles. And it's like, all right, well, I kind of see what I think it was a Taekwondo Underwood offer a couple years ago when he was playing quarterback, and they offered him as a receiver, obviously. But I see the flashes, but he hasn't put it together yet, and I don't know if I trust him being kick returner, punt returner, because God forbid he gets whacked on one of those returns.
that's
He's
true.
probably dropping.
Yeah, and
So
I can only imagine that that he still has confidence. Like you said, he's good in the open field. So what Shiano's doing is he's trying to give him rep after rep after rep. Just catch it. Let's get the offense out there. Just get comfortable doing that. Once you get comfortable doing that, then green light. Start catching and going. But maybe that's what it's about. It's not that he's had a lot of opportunities to return it, because he really hasn't. A lot of the times, most of the times, it's guys are right on him, and he's just catching the ball. So,
yeah.
but
Well,
the
we'll see
fact
what
that
they
he's
do,
out there
but-
leads you to believe Shiano does have confidence that eventually he might be able to break one and get comfortable. So,
Yeah. Someone else brought up in the chat that we completely forgot about Wagner. Wagner is a win, most likely. So that would be 4, and then 5, 6 would be Indiana and Michigan State. So you
yeah, we kind of
forgot all about that one. That game's like I can probably write the post game article right now if I wanted to, and just insert.
Yeah, I'm not. If we were going to
60.
skip a week, I think that's the week we would skip. So, but
Yeah,
look, it's not that we forgot. It's just that was already counted as the win, because we already said it. We said that we have to pull off an upset. So if we beat Wagner, we're at 4. If we beat Indiana, that's 5. That's what we were saying. So the upset really, not that. Look, if Michigan State does happen, though, that's at this point it is looking a little bit more like it is possible that that's no longer. I mean, maybe last week that was an upset. Maybe this week it's not an upset. Maybe now, if you beat Michigan State and Indiana, you could go. You should be 6-0. I mean, 6. Those could be your 6 wins.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I think Michigan State, like you just said, struggled today pretty badly, so I don't think it's crazy. Wisconsin, hit or miss. I think Camp Randall's going to be tough. I'm just kind of going to go over it real quick because someone asked me my season prediction to update my season prediction. So 3 wins, I think 3-1 Michigan, 4-1 Wagner. I'm going to go 4-2 against Wisconsin. I think Camp Randall's too tough to play at.
6-2.
I think Michigan State they beat. It's homecoming. It's a home game. You couldn't have picked a better homecoming opponent now that you look at it, and it's just like luck of the draw there.
Yeah.
Is Mel Tucker going to be there? I don't think so. That's such a weird situation because now apparently they're saying it was consensual. It wasn't. I don't know. I'm not getting into the details of it because it was just something else. But so I'll give Rutgers the win there. I'd probably say 5, and then I would think 6 at Indiana is probably very doable. I think Indiana stinks, but Rutgers has those weird games once in a while. Like, wasn't it Indiana last year? Or was it the year before where they got destroyed by Indiana?
Destroyed? No, that was a couple of years ago.
Who was it? There was a weird game last year that they should have won, but then they go into the game and it's just like, well, they should have beat Iowa. That's one.
That was Minnesota.
Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of someone.
Because
it was Northwestern 2 years ago.
Oh,
that
game.
They went into that game and they looked like they should have won, and then all of a sudden Northwestern
we were favored.
Jets, and it's like, all right, well, what the heck is it? So I am afraid of an away game, no matter who it is in the Big Ten West.
Sure.
But I don't think Indiana's good though. So I think that could be 6.
Well, what I like is that if they're 5 wins going into Indiana, then they have all of that. Yes. We win this game, we're going bowling attitude. And I think that's what they need, because you don't want to have, like you said, you don't want to have that game where you're like, it's Indiana. Where's the motivation? Sooner or later, one of these games on the road, Big Ten, you're gonna just not gonna have it. But if they go the whole week preparing for we win this, we're going bowling, then I feel a lot better about our chances winning that game than it's just another game.
Yeah, 100%. Just to go through the rest, I mean, Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State, I think those are 3 losses. And I hate to say it, Maryland's good.
That's because they got
Their
a
offense,
quarterback.
yeah, they have a really good quarterback. They have good weapons too. They looked good today. So I think you might be able to say, hey, we're going bowling in middle of October, but you also might say, shit, like that's just a race November. Like it's
Well,
just put.
but again, what we would be saying is we're not going to get that upset win this year.
I don't think so. I don't think you get an upset win unless you count Michigan State an upset.
I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to say we're going to be a favorite at this point. The way it's
Which they
going,
might. They very well might be.
Yeah, the way it's going. If Michigan State continues on this path, if they let their coach go and all that stuff, it can just unravel really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But Wisconsin, Iowa, those are the two. Those are the two realistic. If we want to pull off the upset, the meaningful upset, not even talking if Michigan State ends up they're going to be favored by a point or two. Talking about Iowa on the road, Wisconsin on the road, we're going to be double-digit dogs. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's a legitimate. Nobody's expecting us to win upset in the Big Ten on the road. Those are our two shots. And I feel a lot better now about it than I did before the season began. Not necessarily because of our team, but the way they're playing, the way Wisconsin and Iowa is playing. So.
Yeah, Iowa just scares me just because it's so late, and Ferenczi has that weird clause in his contract where he has to get 25 points per game or something like that. Yeah, but
it's just not working. They're not.
Well, they put up 40 today.
No, so the points are working, no question about it.
Yeah, I just think if it's late into the season and he's desperate and needs those points, I think he might go a little. He might go buck wild with the play calling and just be like, "Yo, I'm putting up as many as I can. I'm throwing out this scheme, this one. We're doing trick plays. I don't care. I need to score. I need my job."
Well, let's be honest. If we do play Iowa, I mean, what are we going to score? Even if we win the game, we'd be lucky to score 17.
Yeah, I mean, they've given up one touchdown, two touchdowns, 4 touchdowns through 3 games, and 2 of them are against Utah State somehow. But
so, yeah, that's not going to change with us. Crazy. So, yeah, I hope it happens. Of course, we all hope it happens. And you never know when it's going to happen. That's the thing about college football. That's why I love college football, and with double-digit upsets, because you never know when they're going to happen, obviously, but they happen every single Saturday. And they usually happen multiple times. You just don't know when it's going to be. You never know. And that's why I think it's about your team. And I think we've got that type of team now where we can sort of like the team that we had the COVID year, where you just figure that, yeah, you know what, we pulled off a couple of upsets that year, and maybe it's time again. I just feel like it's time again that we're going to pull off because none of these games, as great as it is, and we're really happy that we're 3-0. We've said it the last few weeks. We said it. We've been down this road before, and until we do something different this year than we've done the last 2 years. But I think we will do something different, and I think the thing that we need to do different is not beating Wagner, beating Michigan State, and beating Indiana. It's beating somebody that we're not supposed to.
Yeah, it's very, very possible. But, I mean, I'm over here looking at Big Ten bowl bids, their tie-ins, just to see, possibly where Rutgers could be going. We could start looking at this now, I feel like, a little bit. It's getting a little
okay.
They're getting close. Getting close. Just saying. I mean, there are a lot of repeat bowls I'm looking at.
Where are they? Like in Florida? Or
Quick Lane Bowl, Detroit. Rutgers has done
Detroit.
That. Yeah, I don't want to go to Detroit on Christmas or 2 days after, a day after Christmas. Yeah, Christmas Day. Let's go to Detroit. Phoenix is always a nice area. I like Phoenix.
That would be nice.
The Bronx, we can always go right up the street to
Yankee Stadium.
Yes,
sure.
Probably the worst grass ever for a football game, but
nice and cold. Yes.
This one I would die for, and I don't think it's going to happen because I think they're one of the higher tier bowls. The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
That's in Charlotte,
North Carolina. Yeah, I would love to go to that one because didn't they pour a jug of mayo on someone last year?
Okay, I don't remember, but
they do some weird.
There's a lot of bad bowls that I just don't remember. Yes.
Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, also a nice one. Just saying. And then the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa, and then Cheese It in
okay.
Orlando. So I mean, there's some options here. Like
Yeah,
you
there
never
are.
know.
But we want to get
Especially
away from the Detroit because that's the thing is if you just sneak in and you go 6 wins and then you lose 4 straight to end the season, that's where you're
yeah.
going to go. You're going to be put to the worst possible, and I got to believe the worst possible bowl's got to be Detroit.
Yeah, probably that or Pinstripe. I'd probably say they're both
But
like
where would you rather go?
bottom.
I would rather see them at Pinstripe because at least
Uh,
it's New
yeah,
York and it's
it's close. You could practice at your. I actually I don't know if you're allowed to, but are you allowed to practice on your home field since it's so close? I would maybe. I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
how that works,
That's
to be honest.
interesting.
Because I know, like, usually, like, for the Gator Bowl, for example, they went and practiced at a high school field. And it's like, all right, that makes sense. But, like, can you practice at Rutgers because you're just right there?
I can't see why not.
I feel like the NCAA is weird with stuff like that. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll
For
be a
us to
pain in
guess
the
what
neck.
they would allow, forget it.
Or you could, I didn't even mention this bowl. We're talking about it in the chat over here. Someone said Pasadena.
Yeah.
I think it's a playoff bowl this year.
Happening for a long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a playoff bowl.
Yeah.
Someone said Birmingham, but Birmingham's not a Big Ten bowl anymore. So
Okay.
yeah, a lot of them have switched up, and it's all types of different now.
So then, really, there's only those are the two that are just either cold or far away: Detroit and Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that'd be the most realistic. And the Pinstripe Bowl would love it just for the sole fact that they could probably sell a ton of Rutgers tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
But I think as much as fans want to get back to a bowl, I don't know. I hate the Pinstripe. It's just, it's so close. It's too close. It's nothing crazy. Yankee Stadium's got an indoor-outdoor press box, which I don't want to freeze to death. So don't let me do that. And then Detroit, and it's the same thing, kind of. It's like,
well, I think it's going to be so much better and more enjoyable for you if you can get to these, warm locations for our post-game show.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we do not want you outside of Yankee Stadium in December.
No,
talking about
Phoenix,
Rutgers.
though.
Do they have the matchups? Do they say who we probably have to play?
Yeah. So Detroit would be the MAC, which has a 16 year streak of beating a Big Ten team. So
yeah, but is that like a team like Toledo?
Or Toledo, Kent State.
So that's a top team. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be one of the better MAC teams, I think.
I'm not
the
sure
Big 12 is Phoenix is the Big 12, which would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't do very well in that matchup.
Was that 2006?
Pretty good conference.
When they had
that could be like Kansas or something.
Arizona State. Oh, Kansas. That would be interesting. Shiano versus Leipold, who was a Rutgers candidate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Ten versus ACC is the Pinstripe, which
ACC. Yeah, that'd be winnable.
Yeah, maybe Dabo. At this point.
Talk about transfers. No transfers.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, he should just leave. That's bad.
Yeah, well, they love him
there. Duke Mayo Bowl's ACC as well. Music City and Nashville's the SEC. That's an interesting one.
Could be like Missouri. Missouri just won today.
Yeah, they were the only top 25 upset, I think, today. So far. There could be more. You don't know.
Michigan just went up 3 scores.
Yeah, see, they're just a really good team. It's going to be
Bowling Green just threw an interception at their own 10.
Oh, you gotta love that.
And that's why they scored. So the Michigan offense hasn't played well.
Was it their backup quarterback? Because I'm looking at the stat line. I don't know their roster too well for Bowling Green, but one kid's 8 of 11 for 91 yards. The other kid's 3 of 6 for 17 yards and 2 picks. So
it must be that dude then. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe the starter went out. You mean?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Bowling Green starter.
I don't really know.
That's you know what? They have that Missouri transfer, Basilic. I'm not sure if he's starting for them. Is that Basilic?
No, it's not Basilic.
Is it Orth?
They have Orth is the one who went 8 of 11, and then the other kid Hayden Timashek.
Yeah, he's not a good one. He's probably the guy then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's looks like he had no stats going into today, but he's struggling.
He might be a freshman.
Yeah, that's a rough one. But they scored twice. You said Michigan. They scored twice on run
it's 21-6.
Yeah. Blake, that running back duo between Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards is going to give Rutgers fits, though, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the thing that so far, just to come think of it, Rutgers has done a pretty decent job so far against the run.
That's true.
But then again, we've
It's
had big leads.
yeah, that too, and it's tough just because these teams they play are
They're
just
not
so
very
bad.
good.
Like they're like Northwestern stinks, Temple
Yeah.
stinks, Virginia Tech stinks, but they're on a higher level of stink, I guess.
Yeah.
They're not really as bad
That's
as
a
the
good
first
way
two,
of,
but
yeah,
they're,
pretty
they're
much.
bad. They're definitely not good.
But you could
Just
see
playing
you
it.
could see Virginia Tech is going to be one of those teams that can get better by the end of the season.
Yeah,
This
100.
quarterback's going to get better, and they'll find it. But again, they're going to play. They're going to start playing ACC games. But yeah,
But
they'll get better.
it's not a great conference, really, is it? Though Florida State's great.
Yeah,
The rest though, the rest is like yeah. Oh, Duke looks good. I should
Duke
take
is
that.
good.
They play Marshall next week, so that should get them a quick
But
win. And
Marshall's
then they
actually
play
a good team.
Are they good this year? I
Yeah,
haven't really
Marshall's a
followed
good
them.
team. That's not an easy one. Matter of
All right.
fact, where is it?
At Marshall.
That's Marshall favored.
That would be interesting.
So, what do you think the Michigan line going to be?
I saw someone else ask that. That's an interesting one. I think it really depends on how this game finishes out today, but it looks like it's going to be a blowout for Michigan.
Probably.
I'm probably going to go with like. There's still going to be a lot of disrespect towards Rutgers. Rutgers covered again. I know there's 3-0 against the spread right now, but I think there's still going to be some disrespect. So I'm going to say like 14 and a half maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
going
going way higher.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
Have you seen Michigan's lines?
No, I haven't really looked at them.
You want to hear? This is Michigan's lines this year. Michigan's been favored by 36, 38, and 41.
Right. Well, it's a lot.
Now, Rutgers is better than any of those teams.
Who have they
But
played? East Carolina, UNLV.
Yeah.
I think 15 is probably pretty close. 14 and a half, 15.
I'm going to say, this is one where, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to say, again, I do think it's going to have something to see what happens to this game, though. If Michigan wins 28-12 or 28-13, maybe you're right. Maybe it's more like in the teens. But if Michigan does go away and wins this game 35-6, 42-6, I'm going to say it's going to be in the 20s. Let's see what the lines have been the last couple of years. So last year, it was 26 at Rutgers. The year before that, it was 20, but that was just before Michigan was a good team. That was still fourth game. They were still not the team that everybody thought they were going to become. So I'm looking at more like the 26, to tell you the truth, because now it's in Michigan. Yeah, I'm gonna say 20s, early 20s.
Maybe I am undershooting. That was a 3-0 Rutgers versus 3-0 Michigan 2 years ago. And you said it was
20.
Now it's 20 and a half. Yeah, that's maybe it is a little low, but I feel like this, like you said before, this is just a different Rutgers team, though.
I agree. As far as I would consider taking it. That I would think that we'd cover it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, you can't bet in Jersey, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, there's other ways to bet when you're in Jersey.
Maybe I am undershooting it. Maybe I'll jump that a little bit. I might go up to like 17 and a half. I still don't think it will be 20s. I could be completely wrong. I'm just guessing here. I have no clue. I'm not a gambling expert by any means. If I was, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, it looks like Tim O'Shick, whatever his name. It starts with a Tim. His quarterback.
Yeah.
He just looks like he's got a. Michigan looked like they just stripped him, but it's a replay, so they might not. They might call it back, but yeah, this guy is apparently the backup because the other guy must have started the game. And see, that's a good thing for Rutgers because if this is the backup and the other guy started the game and they were going really well, and because obviously if that other guy was playing, he'd be. I mean, if the other guy was healthy, he'd be playing.
Yeah, that is true. That makes sense.
So Bowling Green, you're talking about a MAC team, a middle of the pack at best MAC team, backup quarterback in Michigan. What do you think's going to happen? So, yeah, Michigan just recovered the ball to 25. So now, if Michigan scores another touchdown, that means that they'll have taken the game from 14-6 to 28-6 based on 2 turnovers inside the 30. So,
Yeah. I don't know.
and
It's
McCarthy's
going to be.
limping.
No, well, there you go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Who knows?
But
If McCarthy keeps limping, maybe the line will be more like 17, 16.
that's true. You never know.
Well, let's hope next week, man. Like you said, as long as we come on the air, and it's a competitive game, and it's one of those we almost had them again games. We'll take it. We won't be happy about it, but we'll take it. But we'll see. That's why they play the games, and that's sports. And one of these weeks, we're gonna come on the air after the game when nobody's expecting us to win, and we're gonna have one of those conversations. So
Yeah, of course.
And that's because Rutgers is, like you said, this is a different team. They proved it the last 2 weeks when their backs were against the wall. The very next drive, they marched down the field and scored. We have not. We said it last week that we hadn't seen them do that in years. Now they just did it back-to-back weeks. So that's very impressive. And maybe we got something here. And this is not going to be the same 3-0 kind of team that we've seen the last 2 years. And I don't think it will be. So, heck, we're talking bowls on the show. I can't believe we're already looking at the bowl schedule.
Insane.
So
next week, I'll just tell everyone I don't think I'm going to be around. My cousin decided to have a wedding, even though he knows there's football in fall.
Okay.
So I have to go to his wedding next Saturday, unfortunately. So I won't be here for post game. But I'm assuming if you want, you could get Mike, or if you do it on your own, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, someone asked where Mike is. Mike's on his way home from the game, actually. Still, I think maybe not still, but should be home by now. But he's at the game today, so he couldn't have joined us.
Absolutely. Yes, just let Mike know. Have him or give me his information, and I'll get in touch with him. And as long as he's available, then I'll absolutely see if he's available so we could do it together.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are talking win.
But, I hope so. You might have to step out somewhere if you're at some post wedding.
Oh, if I'm there, you don't want to talk to me after a wedding, at a post-wedding reception, God forbid. Unlimited drinks, don't tell me twice.
Yeah, well.
And then cap it off with a Rutgers win. Oh, I might be really banged up.
Then we really want you on the air then. So see,
I'll be screaming on here. I might be able to make it work if they win. If they win, I'll find a way.
Oh, if they're winning, you don't call. I mean, well, if you don't,
I'll call in. I'll do.
Well, you
I'll
can't
do
call in, but you gotta find a link on that phone somewhere. So
yeah, I'll figure it out if they win.
If they win, because the chances of that happening are slim. So you might as well just say it. Yes, you'll do it if they win.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I'll do it. If they win, I'll figure a way out.
I'll
find a way.
You'll find a way, even if it's just for 5 minutes. You'll find a way. Because that's probably it's probably the only amount of time you'll be able to give us.
Yeah, true.
Because we might have to also just knock you off the air. If
that's fine. Hey, it's perfectly fine.
All right, Rich. So you guys are going to talk more about this game, of course, on the channel and preview next week's game. So stay tuned for that later on this week on the Rutgers Football YouTube channel. And you could also check out my channel, Prime Sports Network. Matter of fact, I haven't done this yet. Here, I'll throw in my ticker. I should have thrown that up there a little while ago. Anyway, my ticker that says Prime Sports Network YouTube channel. You can check that out. I might do a post-game show tomorrow for the Jets. I did it last week at midnight. So that was both enjoyable and excruciatingly painful. And
I mean, do you really want to do it after tomorrow's game too? I watched them destroy our team.
I don't think they're as I was actually shocked that line went all the way up to 10, 9.5. I think that is a total lack of disrespect for their defense. Mm-hmm. So look, if Zach throws 3 interceptions, they're going to lose by 20, 25. But if he doesn't turn the ball over, that's not going to be a 10-point game.
True.
So, I'm expecting a good football game. I'm not expecting Zach to be, some superstar yet. I'm not even sure he's ever going to be, but
that's perfectly fair.
We'll give him a shot. So, I hope it's worth doing. And if I do, it'll be whatever. I'll do a post-game show tomorrow night. And then we all have our other shows all week long. So we do a college football handicapping show every Thursday. If you're into sports, if you're into college football wagering, I know, of course, Richie is. So is Mike.
Never.
And we'll talk about the Michigan Rutgers game on that show, possibly. That'll be something to talk about. Sure. We'll see what the line is. So anyway, Rich, good doing this with you again. We're 3-0, which means that no matter what happens next week, we'll still be 3-0 as a team. When they, that's right. The next week is Wagner, right?
Yeah, Wagner. We'll figure something out. I'm sure we'll probably do the same thing. Whatever.
Yeah, if we do Wagner, which we might, it'll be a quick one. I can't imagine we're going to be on the air for an hour and a half talking about Wagner.
Did you see that touchdown pass from a Johnny Shepard? And I was like,
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll do one. All right, Rich, and thanks to everybody out there for being patient with us and also for lighting up that chat board. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rich. Talk to you hopefully next week.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be joining your show.
Hopefully next week. Take care.
See you later.